Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise. And we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer and listener, and welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We welcome you once again to another invigorating episode. We're going to talk about customer service culture, how to develop customer service culture. And we have just the right person for the job. And welcome to the studio, Phatsimo Tafa. Would you care to tell the viewers about yourself and share a little bit about your background?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me here today. My name is Phatsimo Tafa, and I'm a certified customer service consultant, and I'm working for Nef-Aid Solutions. Nef-Aid stands for Near Employees' Feelings and Advocating for Internal Development. So our programs are really around customer service. We're passionate, that's the passion that we have as a company.
Okay. In terms of your training, what can you share?
Currently, we offer 2 trainings. One is called Basics of Exceptional Customer Service.
I was actually talking about your formal training yourself.
My formal training. Okay. I studied business administration, and then I worked at a bank as a service quality analyst, and I've been trained as a certified customer service trainer.
Okay.
Yes.
Nef-Aid Solutions, is that a company you are involved in setting up?
Yes, I'm the founder of the company.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Founder and CEO.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And what led you to want to form such a company?
I was actually inspired at my job. I used to work for a bank, and in the department where I was in, my job entailed calling customers on a daily basis and getting feedback from them. So every day I would listen to customer, whether they are happy or complaining. I would just hear them out, and the passion really grew from that. I think it was there, but I never paid attention to it until I was in that role of dealing with customers on a daily basis, analyzing data, feedback, and presenting the reports.
Okay.
Yes.
No, customer service is at the center of every business. Is that correct?
That's true.
But do you think a lot of organizations recognize that or not?
From the experience that I've had, I'd say no.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And the reason?
The reason varies. For instance, I'll make an example. For the bigger corporations, they have customer service strategies in place. It comes like, with our big banks, you'll find they have they keep track of KPIs and all these. They have a certain process in place. For the smaller businesses, I think that it's usually the business owner who's more conscious about customer service, because I think as a business owner, you want customers to come in, you want them to be satisfied. So you are more inclined to pay attention to it. But I've noticed as they employ people, most of the time they are not really about service.
All right. One of the things you're involved in is mystery shopping.
Yes.
What is that about?
Mystery shopping is basically hiring a company to come as a third party to observe your service, if your employees are keeping up to your service standards. For example, let's say you run a restaurant and you have customer service standards internally to say that when a client walks in, greet them immediately, don't even wait for them to greet. This is what you do, this is how you deal, certain standards in place. So as a mystery shopper, the company hires you to come in and pretend to be a customer. And then you go through what the standards are of the company as opposed to what's really happening on the ground. And then you give feedback based on that. The mystery shopper is trained on what to look out for and what to report back on.
Okay. My idea of a mystery shopper is someone putting on a disguise and sneaking into some outlet. But you and I can be mystery shoppers. What does it take to become one?
We look at the profile and the business that you are running. For instance, someone in banking would need someone who has a business account. So I'd get a mystery shopper who has certain criteria to be able to be a typical customer for a bank. And then you get trained on what to look out for, and you then go in as a mystery shopper and give feedback.
And Nef-Aid does all this?
Yes, Nef-Aid does all this.
Let's talk about net promoter score surveys, which is another thing that you do.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Net promoter score is another tool that is used. I haven't seen many small businesses using it. I've seen it, it's popular amongst the banks and the bigger industries. Some medium enterprises are starting to go into it. It basically, you're asking your customers, how likely would you recommend, for instance, how likely would you recommend Nef-Aid to a friend, family member, or colleague? And then the people are supposed to rate between 0 and 10. So 8, 9, and 10 would be your promoters. Anything 5 and below would be your detractors. And those in the middle, we usually don't really pay attention to them. So we calculate net promoter score by saying promoters minus detractors, and then we get to know where we are in terms of how customers feel about us. And the following question we would ask is why? Why that score? The why gets us to the bottom line of their grievances or what they're happy about if the score is high. And that information is critical to help companies to know what customers think and create strategies around resolving any issues that could be there.
Okay.
Yes.
We talked in general so far about customer service, but let's hone in on its importance. Why do you think it's important?
Customer service is, for a business owner, it means increased income if you get repeat customers. If my customers are not happy, chances are they will not recommend me. If they don't recommend me, that means that not much business is coming in. You want customers who leave happy, because word of mouth advertising is actually known to be the best kind of advertising, because you don't spend any money, your customers are happy, and they are the ones who go and talk about your service and bring in clients and referrals. So for a business, it's important because it brings in business. If you give good customer service, people are happy, they will come back to you. And for an employee, I would say it's important to know that the reason that we are employed where we are is to serve the customer at the end of the day. And because we are employed there to serve them, we get paid, our salaries come from the customers. So it's important to treat customers well.
And now let's talk about your training programs. First of all, your company, does it offer coursework? What does it offer in terms of training programs?
Okay, our company is BQ accredited as an education and training provider. We are a consultancy, but we still offer trainings that help in terms of service. So one of the trainings that we offer is called Basics of Exceptional Customer Service. This is a training that is recommended for every frontline, just so long as you interact with customers. It's basically if we had things our way, it would be an induction course to someone who's going to go in the front line before you step in.
Receptionist, for instance.
Yes, for instance, before you step in your role as a receptionist, you just got hired, you go through the training, and then you start your role. So it basically just enlightens you on the basics, basic etiquette, basic telephone etiquette, and service worker attitudes, the attitudes you need to have as a service worker, and how to handle irate and angry customers. So it's basically a basics course in terms of customer service.
And there's this aspect of experience management, which is also something you offer. Tell us about that one.
Okay, we have a course called Introduction to Customer Experience Management. The target market for that course is mainly entrepreneurs and customer service managers and basically business owners. Introduction to Customer Experience Management is more of a managerial course. It basically takes you through the process of saying, okay, let's say I'm running this small business. What will my customer experience be like? You basically pre-plan what you want your customers to go through. So customer service is a once-off interaction. Customer experience management is more like planning ahead of time that this is what I want my customers to go through. For instance, it's about setting standards. To say at Mogobe, when people call the landline, it should be answered within 3 rings. So you set that as a standard before. Mm-hmm. So everyone who comes in should know that, okay, this is our standard as a company. And we also teach in the same course on customer journey mapping. You basically take a journey of what your typical customer would go through, and then you identify the touch points at each level. For instance, maybe the first time I come across your company is through Facebook. So what is my experience on Facebook? When I send a message, how long do you take to respond? Do you even respond at all? What are the standards in terms of interaction there? When someone calls, who answers which questions? You basically go through the whole journey that your typical customer would go through, and then you identify loopholes and try to come up with measures to close those gaps.
Now, insofar as the surveys you've conducted,
yes.
Where are we lacking? Where is the missing link in Botswana? Where is the weakest point?
I think that most organizations don't really value training, soft skills training, and improving yourself in terms of even personal development. You know, personal development customer service is not only relevant for work, even in your personal interactions. You know, just reading a book or going for trainings, I feel that it's not really that much valued, considering we even have HLGC, which has now offered small companies who are making an annual turnover of less than $1 million, who are not yet levy payers. They can claim up to 11,250 in the training fund. Most of them don't.
Without being registered for the levy?
Even if you're not.
Oh, I didn't know that's possible.
Yes, it's something that they actually did something on their Facebook page. They were speaking about it sometime last year in October. Mm-hmm. It's fairly new.
Mm-hmm. So you can get up to 11,000.
250 worth of funding for your team. So what happens is that if your company has to be registered with SEPA, and then you have to have a bank account, and you pay for whatever course you want to do. The course has to be accredited. That's the
important part.
Yes, the important part, and then you pay, and then you get your refund back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what are you doing to raise awareness on the importance of frontline customer training as an industry generally, and as a company in particular?
Okay, we've tried to start up some initiatives. The first one we did was in 2019. We held the very first Customer Service Week convention. Customer Service Week is celebrated globally on the first full week of October. And many companies in various industries celebrate Customer Service Week. It's really about appreciating the important role of frontline. So during that week, companies can come up with team building activities. Sometimes what happens is the CEO writes thank you letters of appreciation to each employee, like handwritten letters, or they have sessions where they talk with management to say, what do you find challenging? What are we doing well? What do you think our customers want? So it's a time to just connect with frontline and say, you know what, we know that you are the face of our company, and the job that you do is very important, because some companies don't even get to meet the CEO. They meet the receptionist every day. So how the receptionist deals with that customer will be the image that the customer will have about your brand. So it's about just appreciating them as brand ambassadors.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
And the wow factor.
Yes.
There's actually a tenant of mine who calls themselves a wow who goes by that name.
Okay.
What is the wow factor, and how do you understand it in this industry?
Okay, in terms of customer service, the wow factor is about going an extra mile to wow your customers. It's about doing...
Is it to woo or to wow them? Or
wow.
both?
It's
Or by
to wow.
wowing them, you woo them?
Yes. Yes, the idea is to give them an unexpected and pleasant surprise, whereby they didn't expect that. It's basically going an extra mile. If everyone is doing something a certain way in your industry, you do something that leaves the customer thinking, wow, okay, I didn't expect that. So it's really about going an extra mile.
Can you give examples, preferably those you were involved with or in wow factor situations?
One wow factor, which I once experienced, this was actually before COVID. It's important to mention before COVID because it's a bit common now that there's COVID. I went to one parastatal to buy a tender document. So when I got there, I was late. They closed their treasury around 3:30. So I think I got there around 24 past. So I was at the gate and I told the security where I was going. Then he was saying, looking at the time, just you'll register when you come back, go in. Then I went in. When I got there, I found that I managed to pay just on time at revenue. And then the person who's supposed to give out the tender document was not in office. So what they did is they called the person, and the person spoke to me on the phone, and she apologized. She said, you know what, I'm so sorry, I had to step out. I'm not in the office, but what I can do, please give me your address, and then I will have our driver drop off the tender document at your place. For me, that was like, wow, for a parastatal. And also the typical response would have been, oh, sorry, she's not in, just come back tomorrow and fetch it. That's what I expected. That's the standard. But this lady said someone will come and drop it off at your place tomorrow. And I was in disbelief, really. And indeed, the following day, there was a driver from that parastatal to drop off the tender document. And I thought that was wow, because I'm there as looking for business. I'm not even really a customer to them, but they went an extra mile.
Okay,
yes.
That sounds like a good one. Anyone that any other experience, hopefully one involving Nef-Aid Solutions itself?
One that we've given or one that we've received?
You can give one of each.
Okay, one of each. We had a customer who attended a training virtually. He was in Ethiopia. So we happened to know someone who was going there. So they completed the training. So what happened is that we got someone to drop off their certificate where they were. They thought they'd get it when they come back. So when out of the blue, someone came and dropped off their certificate and it was not part of the package, they were like, wow, surprised that you actually got it all the way to Ethiopia.
Wow.
It was a virtual training that they had attended, and they just only expected a digital certificate.
So you sent it by what, DHL or something? By courier?
We sent it. It was actually fortunate that we had found someone going there within us during that time. So we sent it through them to drop it off.
So they were really wowed.
They were wowed, yes. They didn't expect to have someone come and give them their certificate in person.
I'm wowed myself. And one involving it's the different situation, category 2?
One involving with us, or just a general one?
No, a general one.
A general one.
This is what we're about. We want to encourage people to
give wow service. So wow service is there's one time when I was buying vegetables and I bought one spinach and the man gave me another one, and I didn't expect just to say thank you,
Parcel.
Yes, parcel. So I thought that was Wow, and it was an unexpected.
That means
and
Botswana have
pleasant-
been wowing each other forever because Pasela goes back a long way.
Yes, it's a wow factor. Yes.
Okay. And is there some low-hanging fruit that you'd suggest to CEOs and to, founders out there that there's an easy way of wowing your customer that you'd recommend them to adopt?
There's a common saying in customer service that the internal customer experience determines the external. That's to say that how we treat each other internally has a way of reflecting to the outside customer. If I'm a CEO of a company and I ill-treat or I speak to the receptionist like she's just, junior or doesn't add value, and then at the same time I expect her to smile at my customers and treat them as, the best, it's a bit of asking for too much if I'm not treating them well. As the CEO, I need to value my employees. I need to treat them well. I need to treat them with respect. And that appreciation that you give to them has a way of flowing outside to your customers. So even when they are talking to your customers, it's really coming from a genuine place, not because I'm in the front line, I'm forced to. So in terms of management, in fact, in customer service, we turn the typical pyramid. You know how that pyramid is CEO and then heads of department and then, frontline at the bottom. We turn it around, and what happens is that the CEO is at the bottom. So what the CEO we recommend is that, talk to the frontline, find them, ask them, what can I do to make your job easier? And in that way, you are supporting them and they are motivated. They know that you are 100% behind them.
Yeah, that's brilliant. What do you think of this one? I've seen it practiced in some organizations where they set aside, is it a week or so, where the CEO sits in the reception and the receptionist sits in the CEO's position, and all the other positions are rearranged. Yes. Apparently, it has. I don't know what you think of it, because I've had people say that it is wow. It has a powerful impact.
I love that one. It's awesome. It's actually one of the things that some companies do during customer service week. So what happens is that the people in the back office get to go in front to experience a typical day of what it's like to be a receptionist, what it's like to, if customers are always yelling, you get to feel, hey, they yell sometimes because of operational issues at the back. So it helps people to appreciate the next person's job, such that tomorrow when someone is asking for help, when I'm in the front line and I'm dealing with a customer and I need someone in accounts to help me and they are not understanding my situation, it helps them to have had put themselves in my shoes and be in a better position to assist.
Okay.
Yes.
Some people are always looking for career opportunities when they watch this show. So I'm just wondering what it takes to be a certified customer service professional. What does it take and what processes one goes through?
Okay. I attended a course in Minneapolis, USA. There's
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, yes.
Okay, that's Minnesota.
Yes, Minnesota. Called Service Quality Institute, and they offer certification to be a certified customer service trainer. Yes, it was started by a man called John Shaw. He's actually the first ever customer service program to come out was developed by him, and now he's trained millions of people through his programs. We offer some of his programs in our company as well.
How many years? How long does it take, and what does it take to become one?
Oh, it's a short course, about a week of training. Yes.
Okay. Intense training, I would imagine.
Yes, it was quite intense actually. It was quite intense. There was not much of a break. It was just a full week.
So if someone is watching, interested in this thing, they can connect with you, and then you'll do what? If they're interested in being trained as a customer service professional.
As a certified customer service, they could connect with me, and I could take them through the process.
Okay.
Yes.
You can't do it online?
It It can be done online, but there are certain glitches. But I believe by now they should be offering it full time online.
Okay.
Yes.
You mentioned that there was a customer service week last year,
Yes.
which you were involved in. What can we look forward to in this year's one?
We have a program right now called the Wow Factor, which we're doing in partnership with the Yarona FM. Basically, we are identifying service heroes from various industries. What happens is that the listeners send SMS to 16106. If you know someone
16106.
Yes.
Okay.
If you know someone who gives exceptional customer service, you hashtag wow, say the story, and then send an SMS to that number, and then we do a mystery shopping program to confirm. Yes, we don't just take it as is. We need the name and the company, and then we will do mystery shopping and then confirm, and then that person wins themselves a BQ accredited course. So what we plan to do
with your company?
Yes, with Nef-Aid Solutions. So this coming customer service week, we hope to have all those service heroes in one place and just appreciate them. Yes.
And looking forward to the customer service week, the international one for this year. That was my original question. What's going to happen?
We intend to have a convention.
Yes.
Yes, but last year we never had one because of COVID and.
Okay. The last time you had was 2019.
Was 2019.
So, but
yes.
You're going to have one for this year. That's what I'm saying. What can we look forward to for that one?
Yes, we look forward to seeing service heroes, learning about what Customer Service Week is about, and just sharing information across industries. Because really, what happened with the one that we had initially, it was just so awesome. F&B was there. They sponsored the stage for us, and we had some people from Choppies there. We were just talking about the various challenges that we have in industries and how we can help each other and what industry is doing how, and it was really great conversations that came up in terms of service.
Okay. You say management commitment is crucial, and you've already alluded to that. Why is that? Why is it important? I know, but I just, for the benefit of the listener, why is it important for management to be committed to any qualities, improvement program?
It's not just with customer service, but with any quality improvement program that comes into a company. It needs to have the backup of management, because management are also the financiers who make those decision making behind that. So if management is not supporting the initiative, there's a chance that the budgets will be lower. At the same time, management is supposed to be the one motivating employees and encouraging them. So if they see the value of that, then they will bring in the right attitudes and bring in the right commitment to make sure that it works and that it gets the priority that it deserves.
And the internal customer,
yes,
as opposed to the external customer.
Yes.
Define that important entity.
Okay, internal customers are our colleagues. I know sometimes we view our colleagues as just our colleagues and we are not really accountable to them for anything. But as long as I'm dependent on you for a job that I'm doing internally, I'm your customer. So whoever you serve to make sure that their job gets done, that's your internal customer. So in essence, our colleagues are also our customers, and we need to give them the right service as well, not just extend it to external customers, but even within ourselves, we should respect each other's deadlines as departments.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you inculcate that culture? Because remember, we're talking about developing that culture.
Yes.
Because I don't think it comes automatically.
It doesn't. It has to be planned. It has to be intentional. We develop programs around that. That's why we have team building programs. Companies invest in that. In customer service, we don't say you just do one customer service training and then you are going to be good for the rest of your life. There are refresher courses that you do every 6 months, every year, It's like motivation. You just need to keep it up on a daily basis. So doing little things like celebrating birthdays, celebrating customer service week, when someone does a good job, appreciating them, any programs that bring up helps people get motivated can help towards creating a culture. But it has to be intentional. You have to have standards that you say internally, these are our turnaround time for this, these are our service standards and how we work with each other.
Some years ago, I used to have what I call the CEO's Award,
Okay.
which I gave to what I considered an exceptional employee every month.
Okay.
And then it after about a year, it led to animosity. Why me, not that one? And for me at the time, it backfired. So my suspicion is that I was doing it without the benefit of an expert or a professional like you. What do you think of such efforts, and how can I do it better next time?
Usually what happens is that the important thing is each employee should be appreciated, right? As an employee, because we need to differentiate between appreciation and recognition. Yes.
You're going to teach us, isn't it?
Appreciating someone is, you're basically appreciating their role. For instance, as a receptionist, not that there's something extraordinary that they would have done, but their role and what they do on a daily basis, you need to appreciate that. Then there's recognition. Recognition doesn't come often. It comes when you did something specific that calls for recognition. For instance,
something exceptional.
Yes. For instance, let's say you have a salesperson and they exceeded the targets. They could be recognized in various ways, whether it's money-wise or a gift or a promotion. That would be your recognition. So when you recognize, it should be clear what the person achieved for them to be recognized in that manner. And then for appreciation, everyone should feel, a level of appreciation that, I'm appreciated as a cleaner here. If the cleaner did well, you say, it's really looking great today, thank you, or you really do a great job, you make sure our floors are clean. The person will feel like, wow, the CEO recognizes,
what I'm doing.
Yes, when it's their birthday, just to say, everyone, it's so-and-so's birthday, get them a cake. They feel that level of appreciation.
And then, of course, getting back to my example, how can I do it better?
Do it better in terms of...
Because what used to happen is that now there was a toxic environment where now there was angst. Why did you... Like, for instance, an employee would keep doing exceptional, like 2 or 3 months in a row, and then he keeps getting the award. Then it leads to animosity. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but I then stopped it at the time, and I'm trying to figure out whether there's a better way of doing it without leading to he's always getting whatever. But if somebody is better than the others, it's unavoidable.
You mean the same award being given to the same person?
Yeah, sometimes you'd have maybe a handful of people getting a similar award. I don't know.
Based on there'd be certain standards that are there.
Yes, and based on the CEO's impression of their performance.
Well, if someone is doing well, they are doing well. And it would be to find a way of motivating the others to say, okay, this person did well like this. Maybe if you could also, improve in this area, in this and this and this, and way it could be you. I think they should look at it. It's more about how you view things. It could be a motivation. If that person is always winning, try to find out what is it that they are doing so well, so that I can also, get that award as well. And then you really push yourself to get that award instead of looking at why is it the same person. Maybe try to find out what are they doing different that I'm not doing.
Yeah, I've also read that it's better to focus on your eagles than on your ducks.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yes. How do you understand that?
I understand it as in it's better to focus on what it is that they are doing well, the positive, instead of the focus.
In other words, focus on the eagles, the top performers, rather than the poor performers.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, there's the concept of using customer service as a competitive advantage.
Yes.
Explain the concept and how do we apply it?
Okay. In an industry where we are all offering the same goods and service, it's good as a business to say, okay, what is it that I'm doing differently that can differentiate my business? Of course, there are many things that you can use, price, you can use this and that, but customer service has been found to be the one differentiating strategy that an organization can use to clearly differentiate itself from its competitors. So it has been linked to increased profits. Yes, and one person that I usually sometimes watch these videos of some of these entrepreneurs who advocate for customer service. One international business person who advocates for that is Richard Branson. And he says that because someone was interviewing him that, okay, you started Virgin Active, the airline business, and you are now excelling as opposed to some of those who've been there before. What would you say you did that was different? And he brought it to customer service. For him, it was all about the customer experience. You know, they pay attention to the little things, the ambience. They hire, right from the hiring process, they hire people who generally have a positive outlook in life, because they say it's easier to train someone who's generally nice, kind, and then you train them on certain skills than to get someone who's grumpy and then put them in frontline and expect them to treat people well. So he attributed most of his success to really the customer experience. Yes.
You mentioned the little things. What are those little things that we often overlook?
Little things is like responding to email, acknowledging receipt of email. That is one thing I've noticed that we don't do well locally. Just if I send you an email, just to say received thank you, even if you're not yet addressing what I've said. It's the little things. It's like saying thank you for your assistance. It's simple things like smiles, returning calls. A lot of times you call somewhere. Have
you not discovered that here in Botswana, a lot of big shot business people don't return calls?
Yes, they don't.
But why? I mean, I'm talking big shots. I'm not talking. How did that culture come about?
I don't know how the culture came about. I was actually talking to someone the other day, just trying to find out, like, some of the things seem like they are a social culture, and then they somehow creep into the business world. Because if you were to compare I have had a bit of experience working in South Africa and Swaziland, and I noticed the work ethics in terms of, being prompt is kind of different compared to our pace. This side is more slow paced. So I don't know, I thought maybe it's social culture, or I don't know what it is, but I've noticed there is that.
But is your company and your colleagues in the industry working on changing that?
We are trying what we can with the social initiatives we have, like Wow Factor, which identifies people who give wow service. Customer Service Week is trying to promote the importance of customer service in general and the front line.
Okay. Skills training is very important. What ideally would you recommend for a startup? How often should they do training? Number one. Two, what percentage of the budget should be set aside for training?
Training should be, in my opinion, something that is done annually, whether you do it every 6 months or once or twice a year on different aspects. But people development is very important, because you can gain a lot just from even reading a book, not even training, but just reading a book on a certain topic can help to change your mindset on how you look at certain issues. So training is important, and it's something that small business needs to pay attention to, because you as a small business owner, for instance, I'm running a small business, I don't know how my frontline interact with my customers when I'm not there. And I need to make sure in advance to avoid losing any customers. You don't know how many customers you've lost because of a frontline who's not well trained. And you are very fortunate if a customer comes back to complain, because statistics show that 1 of 10 customers will come back and complain. The rest will just go away and speak negatively about your business. Others, they run to social media, who have time to go on and post. But generally, the idea is that to avoid unnecessary conflicts, just be proactive and train your employees on how you expect them to treat your customers.
Okay. You mentioned social media, and there's a whole array of people on the internet who talk about etiquette on social media, and I wonder whether you offer any kind of training or advice on social media etiquette as well.
Currently, we don't offer one on social media etiquette. Yes.
Do you have your views on that?
I think it is important. Maybe I should understand whether you mean on a personal level as a business owner
how the business is portrayed on social media. And its leadership, of course. Because as far as I'm concerned, the leadership and the business, they are inextricably intertwined.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. As a business owner, you need to be aware of the things that you post on social media, especially because people will tie their views of your business to how you handle yourself on social media. So yes, it is important. Yes, though we don't yet offer a course that specifically deals with that.
Yeah. There is a piece of legislation called the Consumer Protection Act.
Yes.
Is there any sense in which the legislation helps in improving customer service, or in at least instilling discipline against the bad players out there?
I think the good thing is that some laws are already there that are helping and protecting the customer. I'm just not sure of how aware the customers are of their rights, and whether that information has been well communicated, such that if I go to a shop, now do I know whether I have a right to return something and get my money back or not? I think we could work more on the consumer education part so that we know.
Because there was a program called Consumer Watch, wasn't there? I don't know if it's still a watchdog, yes.
By Richard Herringman.
Yeah,
yes.
I wonder whether programs like that help insofar
I believe they
because
do.
they are enforcing the legislation as well. And sometimes sometimes the stick works better than the carrot. You don't think so?
I think it's a good thing that they are there and they do help. I think it was on radio. There's also the Consumer Watchdog Facebook page. There's sometimes information that's shared there that is helpful to consumers. And even on scams that are possible scams that are out there, and some of the consumer rights. So I believe that the Facebook and the radio has helped to some extent.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the crystal ball question. I normally ask my guests to tell us what they see when they grab that ball, the future of the company, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the line, and the future of Tafa. What is the scenario do they project?
My vision is to be a leading customer service trainer in Botswana and SADC and step foot in Africa in terms of creating a service culture. It's really to see people being conscious about how they treat their customers. It's sad to see a small business, sometimes even someone on the running their small business, Mausu there, and you want to support, and the person seems like they're not interested in you. It's to see more of a service culture in the country and seeing people showing more interest in giving the best of their business and themselves to their customers.
Do you foresee the company opening in other parts of the continent?
Yes. Swaziland, Zambia, South Africa, that's our vision.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds very exciting.
Yes.
Do you have a question for me, madam?
Yes, one question. I see Mogobe Incorporated Group, so I'm just interested to know, how do you keep up with all the businesses, managing them, and making sure that things are going in order?
It's a work in progress. There's also God's grace, but we do our best to do what you can when you can, and to try not to let fear be part of the equation. And I find that every time you remove the fear from the equation, you're able to do much better. I've been fortunate enough to have a spouse who's entrepreneurial. I've been fortunate enough to have employees who are dynamic and constantly trying to inject some youth and new blood, as you can see, who are able to assist when some of us are stuck with our old ways. But the idea is to constantly re-energize your mind through reading, through personal development, and to be able to stay healthy and to stay on top of things. But like I said, it's a work in progress.
Yes.
Some days you won't believe what happens around here. It looks like a war zone, but on average, we're on an upward trajectory, and through God's grace, and we're heading somewhere.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mema Tafa,
Yes.
this there is your camera there.
Yes.
I'd like you to talk to the people behind there and talk to them as we conclude our conversation. Leave them with something inspirational, something encouraging about yourself and your company and the conversation we've had in general.
Thank you for watching, and if you're running a business, I wish you all the best, and that you incorporate customer service as your marketing strategy, as a differentiation strategy, as a way to grow your business, because customer service has a direct link on profits, and it's one of the things that we can use as small, medium enterprises to enter the market and to dominate within our area of working.
Okay, thank you very much. Would you care to share your contact details for the benefit of the viewer?
Yes, you may contact me on 71637-477, 71637-477, or you could send an email at phatsimo@nef-aid.com. Phatsimo is PHATSIMO @nef-aid.com.
And then on social media?
On social media, we have a Facebook page called @Nef-Aid Solutions. @Nef-Aid Solutions.
Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful guest.
Thank you for having me here.